Iconic landmarks to see in the USA. American history may be short compared to many countries worldwide. However, the country is still rich in landmark sites that tell the story of a new nation's birth. Across the country, the top U.S. landmarks reveal stories of the first people who settled here, the colonists traveling to a new world, and the fierce battles that took place for freedom and justice. When visiting these famous American landmarks, history comes alive, and you leave with a better appreciation and understanding of the momentous events that occurred right where you stand. From America's brightest moments to its darkest days, these iconic monuments showcase the United States' legacy and the foundation on which the beautiful country is built. These are the top 10 famous landmarks in the United States that you should add in the list. 1. Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, Charlottesville, Virginia. Monticello, an expansive red brick home with white Greek columns and a dome overlooking a sprawling Virginia plantation, was Thomas Jefferson's home for nearly 60 years. Jefferson, the third president of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence, built this home on land he inherited from his father. Today, the home is a National Historic Landmark and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You can even see a depiction of Monticello on the reverse side of the U.S. nickel. Visitors can purchase tickets to explore the home and surrounding plantation. Much of Monticello has been transformed into a museum with exhibits regarding Jefferson, archaeology, and more. 2. Bunker Hill Monument, Boston, Massachusetts. The Bunker Hill Monument, a towering granite obelisk, was built in the 19th century to commemorate one of the first battles in the Revolutionary War. On June 17, 1775, thousands of soldiers died at the Battle of Bunker Hill. As one of the early monuments in the United States, it pays homage to those who fought and paid with their lives for freedom. Today, the Bunker Hill Monument, Lodge, and Museum are open to all visitors free of charge. Hundreds of thousands of visitors come to this famous monument in the USA to explore the battle's history and climb to the top of the monument's 294 stairs to the top. At the Lodge, guests can admire the statue of battle hero Joseph Warren and get up close to a Revolutionary War cannon. 3. Ellis Island, New York City, New York. From 1892 through 1924, more than 12 million immigrants arrived at Ellis Island, looking to begin a new life in the United States. Every individual that passed through was documented through ship manifests and regular inspections. At the end of 1954, Ellis Island closed as an immigrant processing facility and later reopened to the public as a museum. Today, Ellis Island sits in New York Harbor as a symbol of hope and freedom and an iconic U.S. landmark. Visitors can purchase ferry tickets to visit Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. On the island, guests go back in history to experience the journey of immigrants traveling to the U.S., a variety of artifacts, a wall of honor celebrating American immigrants, and more stand to educate and honor. 4. Independence Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Explore the birth of a nation at Independence Hall, where the Founding Fathers signed both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Known as the birthplace of America, the building was formerly known as the Pennsylvania State House. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Situated in the heart of Philadelphia, the red brick building stood as a symbol of freedom in the 13 colonies and is now one of America's most famous landmarks. Step back into history as you enter its doors. Imagine delegates such as George Washington and Thomas Jefferson debating and writing the most critical documents in American history. 5. Plymouth Plantation, Plymouth, Massachusetts. If you're looking for a true time warp to experience what life was like in the 1600s, visit Massachusetts' Plymouth Plantation. The Living History Museum replicates the original Plymouth colony established by the Pilgrims in the 17th century. Experience what it was like to travel to a new world and start your life from scratch. Founded in 1947 by history buff Henry Hornblower II, the plantation includes a replica of the Mayflower II, an English village, Native American home site, barns, a grist mill, and more. In the barns, period actors helped care for the same livestock the Pilgrims would have bred. Everything on the plantation, from the people to the land, appears to be straight from the 17th century. 6. The World Trade Center Memorial, New York City, New York. The world changed forever on September 11, 2001, when two planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City and two others crashed into the Pentagon and in a Pennsylvania field. That day marks a historic turning point in global society. Today, the World Trade Center Memorial stands where the towers once lived, commemorating all who lost their lives that day. Two deep pools are surrounded by gray barriers with the name of every victim etched into the metal. As you walk around this landmark, you'll notice flowers poking out of names as loved ones continue to visit. You'll soon forget you're in the heart of bustling Manhattan, as the sound of the waterfalls drown out external noise and create a somber atmosphere. 7. U.S.-Arizona Memorial, Honolulu, Hawaii. The U.S.-Arizona, which calls the Pearl Harbor National Memorial home, symbolizes an important day in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, the U.S.-Arizona was hit by Japanese bombers and sank, killing more than 1,000 people. Most of the shipwreck still lies beneath the memorial today. Today, the battleship's remains are a National Historic Landmark. Visit the memorial and learn about the people who died that day and how Pearl Harbor was a catalyst for the United States' entry into World War II. Read survivor stories, learn about Hawaii's role in the war, and help preserve the memory of those involved. More than 2 million people visit this remarkable U.S. landmark every year to immerse themselves in the history surrounding Pearl Harbor. As just one of several sites of the Pearl Harbor National Memorial, take time to visit each one and discover what happened that fateful day. 8. Lewis and Clark National Historical Park, Astoria, Oregon. In the early 1800s, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark set off on a near-impossible expedition to map and explore the country's western portion following the Louisiana Purchase. In about 3 years, Lewis and Clark reached the Pacific Ocean, mapping the land and building relationships with several indigenous nations. Upon reaching the Pacific Ocean, the explorers, known as the Courts of Discovery, built Fort Clatsop, an encampment along the Columbia River in Oregon. Today, a replica and memorial were the foundation for the Lewis and Clark National Historic Park, a land rich in history and natural splendor. 9. Fort Sumter, Charleston, South Carolina. Another famous landmark of America is Fort Sumter. Located off Charleston, South Carolina, Fort Sumter was the site where Confederate soldiers fired upon the U.S. garrison in 1861. The shots fired that day marked the county entering a several-year battle between the North and South. Today, the island fort stands as a reminder of the day the country changed forever. Accessible only by boat, Fort Sumter is available for visitors looking for self-guided or guided tours. Learn about the beginning of the deadliest conflict in U.S. history and walk among cannons and brick walls still damaged by artillery fire. National Park Rangers are on hand to tell you more about the fort's history and the events surrounding April 12, 1861. 10. The Henry Ford Museum, Dearborn, Michigan. Named for the innovative automobile tycoon and museum founder, the Henry Ford Museum is home to historical items and memorabilia honoring America's technological advances. Focusing on the advances Americans made during the Industrial Revolution, the Henry Ford Museum explores the history of innovation through the people at the forefront. Discover flight innovations like the Wright brothers' accomplishments, or look inside the bus where Rosa Parks stood up for herself in a race by taking a seat. The numerous experiences and exhibits will leave you feeling more knowledgeable about the technological advances made throughout the last century. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you